You bite your tongue, right? You try to be kind, and then boom, you just totally snap.
Yeah, it happens to absolutely all of us.
It really does. Why does our patience always seem to just, run out right when we need it most? Welcome to today's custom deep dive, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, today we're looking at some really interesting excerpts from a piece called Charity as a Divine Gift.
Right, and the mission here is to explore this, like,
Yeah.
radical reframing of how we actually practice love and patience and charity in our daily lives.
Because our immediate instinct when we lose our temper is to just frame it as this massive personal failure.
Oh, for sure. We tell ourselves we just lacked willpower or, we weren't disciplined enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which just feeds this completely exhausting cycle of striving and then inevitably failing again.
Okay, let's unpack this. If willpower isn't the answer, what actually is the alternative? Because the core premise of this text kind of flips that whole cycle on its head.
It really does. It asks, what if that deep, steady love we all want to show isn't an achievement at all? The text makes a really crucial distinction here about effort.
Right, because it's not saying effort doesn't matter, right? Like, effort isn't meaningless.
No, not at all. I mean, effort builds necessary discipline. It interrupts those bad behavioral patterns we get stuck in.
Yeah.
But the fundamental flaw is relying solely on human effort to be loving.
Because you just run out of gas.
Yeah, I mean, if your capacity to love depends entirely on your daily energy levels, which, let's face it, fluctuate wildly.
Wildly. Some days I have zero energy.
Right, then your love is inevitably going to be inconsistent.
It's like trying to power a whole city with just like a single draining battery. You might keep the lights on for an hour, but eventually the grid is going to crash.
And it leaves you totally exhausted. But what's fascinating here is the text's core pivot. True charity originates beyond us.
It begins with God, not with human effort.
Exactly. When we connect this to the bigger picture, the entire paradigm shifts. It goes from how do I try harder to how do I open myself up to receive what I actually cannot create.
But see, here's where it gets really interesting to me. Because receiving sounds, well, it sounds passive.
Right, like you're just waiting around.
Yeah, like you just sit back and wait for patience to magically fall out of the sky and hit you. But the text argues that receiving requires active openness.
It means letting go of the need to control a response. You have to look past your own immediate reactions.
Which is so hard to do.
Oh, it's incredibly hard. To understand why it works, we have to look at what happens when we get irritated. Our psychology immediately shifts into this defensive hyperfocus.
Like tunnel vision.
Yes, exactly. We fixate inward. We focus on our hurt feelings or the exact words someone just said to us or our desperate need to win the argument.
And that inward fixation literally closes us off from accessing any sort of broader empathy or grace.
Right. So shifting from producing love to participating in it requires breaking that inward fixation.
It's a huge shift in posture. The text actually suggests changing our underlying prayer from, help me be more loving, which is still all about self-effort, to, let me receive your love so I can give it.
It's a complete game changer.
Okay, I love that, but I do have to push back just a little bit here.
Go for it.
So in the heat of the moment, right, when someone tests your absolute last nerve, you aren't exactly in a Zen state to just contemplate divine connection.
No, you're definitely not.
Right, so what does this actually look like during an argument? How do you adjust your psychological posture when you're just fuming?
Well, the text has a specific practice for this. In those exact moments, you don't actually try to respond better.
Wait, if you try it all?
No, you just pause. You briefly acknowledge inwardly, I cannot do this well on my own.
Oh, wow. So just admitting defeat right there.
Kind of, yeah. What's happening in that pause is it acts as a deliberate circuit breaker. By admitting your own limits, you force that defensive inward hyperfocus to drop.
Because you're stepping out of the ring, basically.
Exactly. You wait for a subtle shift in your internal posture. It's like a physical and emotional yielding.
So by stopping the engine of your own effort, you basically create a vacuum.
Yes. And then, only then, from that open receptive place, do you choose your response.
And suddenly, your failures aren't these shameful proofs of your inability. They're just gentle reminders that you were never meant to carry the full weight of love alone.
Because you weren't the source of it. By shifting from pressure to openness, love ceases to be this forced, white-knuckled effort.
It becomes something far more steady.
Yeah, much more reliable.
So the next time you feel your patience slipping and that urge to just try harder kicks into overdrive, remember to just pause.
Make space to receive. You don't have to manufacture it all yourself.
Exactly. And it leaves you with this to think about. If our capacity to love deeply depends on how openly we receive it, rather than how hard we work to achieve it,
Right.
what other essential virtues in our lives are we completely exhausting ourselves trying to manufacture from scratch?